James Oglethorpe by Lynn Green. Chapter 1. Childhood. James Edward Oglethorpe was born in London, England in 1696. If you think that was a long time ago, you're right. It was more than 300 years ago. London, England was a large, busy city when James Oglethorpe was born there. James was born into a very wealthy family. James's father was a general in England's army. Because his family was wealthy, young James was able to go to school when he was a child. He loved to read and learn new languages. Not all English children had the chance to go to school. Children in many families that were not wealthy worked to earn money. Some started working when they were only 5 years old. The words on the Oglethorpe family symbol mean he does not know how to give up. It's called a family crest. As a young man, Oglethorpe was in Parliament. People in Parliament make laws. Only wealthy people were in Parliament. Oglethorpe worked hard in Parliament. He made speeches in favor of laws to protect people who were not wealthy. He became known as someone who wanted to make things better for people. This was Oglethorpe's home in England. Oglethorpe had a friend who owed someone money. His friend could not pay his debt. He was put in prison. Prisons were crowded. Prisoners were treated poorly. Oglethorpe wanted to help people like his friend. He had compassion for debtors and prisoners. People who could not pay their debts were sent to prison. Sometimes they had to wear handcuffs and leg irons. Chapter 2. An idea for a colony. Oglethorpe wrote a report to tell England's leaders about the problems in prisons. England's leaders read Oglethorpe's report. About 1,000 debtors were let out of prison. Debtors still had problems. There were not enough jobs in England. Oglethorpe was the leader of a group that tried to help people in prison. Oglethorpe, a jail key, and a jail cell. Labels for those pictures. Oglethorpe thought that he could help people who needed work. He wanted to start a colony in North America. Oglethorpe wanted to give land and tools to the colonists who moved to the colony. He hoped they could grow olives and other crops. He hoped they could sell these crops and become successful farmers. This picture shows what Oglethorpe hoped his colony would look like. In 1732, King George II agreed to let Oglethorpe start a colony. Oglethorpe named it Georgia, after the king. Georgia was between England's Carolina colonies and Spain's Florida colony. Oglethorpe wanted to start a colony next to the other English colonies. So here's Georgia. The Georgia colony was owned by the English. Oglethorpe had made rules for the colony. One rule was that no one could be forced to work without pay. Oglethorpe thought slavery was wrong. He believed in liberty for all. King George II, just him, signed this royal agreement to start the Georgia colony.